Just a kind of note, really. Just remember on your assistance work, as long as you're keeping it kind of close to what you're meant to do, that's completely fine. And remember that if you're, say it's kind of like a lower body, priority 1 or 2 kind of exercise, and you're feeling really beat and you don't want to do that, don't do that. Do some more upper body work. I realize that if your session's taking too long, don't do that. That's cool. Like, the priority is the main work, and the assistant stuff has its place, and it is important, and for some people it's more important than others, but unless specified, you can mix it up here and there. Mixing up the rep ranges, making sure you get a good pump, making sure you're actually trying hard, not just moving A to B, making sure you're putting in a bit of effort. But if it's biceps, or if it's say a more quad emphasis movement, but you've just hammered squats and you think that it's going to affect your deadlift workout the next day, or whatever it may be, don't do split squats. Don't do it. Just do something else. Make sure that you've had some kind of game plan a little bit to your assistance work, and maybe you run little waves of things, you do lat pull downs every week for a couple of weeks, and then maybe you'll change it, or whatever it may be. Just keep things fresh, keep things interesting, play with tempos, but yeah, just know that if you're not feeling it and your legs are beat, don't do it. Do something else, because the focus is on the main work. And if you're not feeling it and you're a bit sore, you can do some more upper body work or whatever it may be. Just work around, but make sure you're weak. It makes sense. If you're doing the same type of curl every single day, probably not wise. Or front raise, or whatever it may be. Just have some variety in there. Variety is the spice of life. And so maybe you do curls for 2 days as one of your exercises, different variations, and then the other 2 days, maybe one of them you do calves, and the other day you do additional ab work on top of what you do, or something like that. Just mix it up. I want to make sure people are doing some light calf work, because the calves really do take a lot of beating, and often we're very lazy at stretching them out and rolling them out and all these other things, because we don't really directly train them. They're only indirectly trained by deadlift, squat, so they're very easy to overlook. However, they do have a crucial role. If you are a high bar squatter, or someone with a lot of knee flexion in your squat, you're gonna beat those calves up a lot more. So I would really strongly advise some light calf training, minimum once per week, to stretch out the tissues of the calf, and it can help your knee pain if you have any, but also really keep your feet healthy and your calves healthy. I have had periods of time doing high bar squats where there's videos of me, like I had to wrap my calves with a knee wrap, or slingshot calves, or even another sleeve just around my calves during training, because my calves hurt so fucking bad. Because I used to squat a little closer stance with O shoes, low bar, and I used to squat high bar very frequently, and that constant pounding on the calves, and the constant stretching of the fascia of the calves led me to get quite a serious tear in my calf that meant I could barely walk for 4 months. I couldn't walk downstairs one day. I couldn't even get to the train station one day for work. I genuinely couldn't move out the house. I had a real tough stint of it with calves. So I tried many different things. I know I've probably said this before on one of these things, but I tried many different things, from physios to different masseuses, and I tried icing, I tried heat, I tried everything I could think of. But one thing I stuck with every single day is calf raises, and eventually that was the thing that cured me. So since then, calf raises are in the program for me, at least once a week or once every other week, at the minimum, but usually every week. For me, I do just go on a step body weight, and I do 4 sets of 20 with a decent tempo, making sure I'm getting a proper stretch at the bottom. If you do them properly, you can get like a lot of stress out of that. If you're someone that trains calves quite a lot and you're conditioned to that, you're not going to, but you can get a lot out of that, and that will really help the healthier tissues. Anyway, I've been going on about calves, but just another one on abs. While we're on the subject of things that have helped me, ab training is not to be overlooked. I think abs are another one that people think, oh, I'm a powerlifter, I don't need abs. That's not cool. That's not correct either. It's very important to not have any weak links if you're going to be strong. Be strong everywhere. And the weakest link in the chain will break, and if your abs are weak, the abs will tie into the hip flexors, and if your abs are weak, you might not be able to brace as effectively, which may cause hip flexor strains. So make sure you're training your abs. I've had a kind of hip flexor TFL, rectus femoris area issue now for 8 months on the mend, and hanging ab raises have been key for my rehab, I believe. Been doing them twice a week for around 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps with good tempo, and that has been very, very important in my recovery, because that hanging leg raise is great for the hip flexors. There's a lot of blood in there, and it's just a light stress on them, which is obviously good for rehab purposes, to get just those extra reps in there. But yeah, strengthening up those abs will massively help your ability to brace in a position. An exercise I'd recommend looking up is the dead bug, and it's a very, very difficult exercise, and you shouldn't really be able to be doing more than 5 to 10 reps in one set. It should be very, very difficult. You should really control the tempo on that, and you should be bracing so hard that that's a really tough thing to do, and that will be great for the cueing bracing. Well, you're in the road, aren't you? So anyway, so so it's really good for cueing bracing. So yeah, making sure you're training your abs, even the obliques as well. Just training the whole core trunk area. 360 is very important. Side planks are good. Just training the abs 360. So when you're bracing on a squat or deadlift, you've got something stronger to support you, less likely to collapse in the torso. If you think about it, you've got your spine, and surrounding your spine you've got your erectors and you've got your abs. So you want to encase them in a steel-like structure to keep you healthy. If you're someone that has rounded back on deadlift or rounded back on a squat, having really strong abs is going to really support your spine. That, along with cueing, is going to enable a much better position. Also, training the abs can massively relieve lower back pain as well. So hanging leg raises are good. Planks are good, but you got to be careful. Some people has their shoulders. Ab wheel is also very good, But again, bicep tendonitis, shoulder problems, got to be careful with that one as well. If you can do it, you can do it, that's great. But yeah, any sort of side planks, dead bugs, drills like that are good. Not a big fan of flexion based exercises, but every now and again, maybe every other week, probably okay to train a bit of flexion. Like and by that I mean a sit up, a crunch, a decline bench, sit up, Russian twist, etc. Basic side bends can be good with a dumbbell, or kettlebell, whatever. Side planks, just training the whole, abs 360 can be very useful. So that would be a good one. And lastly, just on the topic of health, assistance work, training the biceps, training, the curl, any form of curl, will hit your biceps, and getting that blood flow around the biceps and stretching out the tendon can be great for not only improving your bench by having a bigger arm over a long period of time, but it'll actually just really keep the bicep tissue healthy, and the bicep is the stabilizer in the bench and what brings the bar down. I suffer with tendonitis quite a lot, hit and miss here and there, often caused by the squat tendonitis. Most people have bicep or elbow tendonitis and they think it's the bench. Quite often it's the squat. You can often get it in wide grip benching as well, but training the bicep is going to get a lot of blood flow in there, which can help heal some of the tendonitis issues you have and make the tissue a lot healthier. Anyway, that was a couple of things on assistance, just about, obviously you can mix it up when you wish, regulate it, train hard, and also making sure you're hitting some of these things that maybe you're not, to enable you to stay healthy and obviously to get to that next level.